Welcome everyone to Aspiring Mentors Free webinar session. So on our today's discussion, we'll be discussing a few points about introduction to research. And our today's presenter is Dr. Ali. Dr. Ali is an incoming PGY1 internal medicine resident who will be joining inside Chicago Medical Center. So today he'll be discussing about his experience, about his research journey, and also he will be also sharing more insights about how to seek for research opportunities and also how to go about research projects on your own. So without further ado, please welcome Dr. Ali. Thank you.
Hey everyone. Thank you for the introduction. Let's start with the presentation. Discuss about research. It's just going to be a really short presentation on research, just a little bit of introduction and the things that you should do and some things that you should not do and the things that you need to do for the match. So let's just start with it. So my name is Mentors Ali and I'm incoming PGY1 at Inside Chicago and Medical Center, which is in Illinois, USA. So we're just going to discuss about, a short introduction. What are the requirements that you need during the match? Certain journals or, different type of research that someone can do. What are the benefits of research when you start doing it? Is it worth it? And, how much time does each different type of research takes? That's also important. Research courses that you can do as a student or even as a graduate, which can contribute, which can enhance your resume when you apply for the match, and certain links as well. That's towards the end. Introduction, everyone knows, I think, the people who are attending here, they already know what's research. So again, research is really an important part of your application. When you're applying for residency, it again depends on what specialty that you're applying to. Let's say you're applying to internal medicine, it's different. You're applying to something much more competitive like dermatology, it's different for that. Again, research from the name itself, refers to the process of gathering and analyzing a particular set of information. And everything that you practice in medicine and, everything that you're learning in textbooks was a part of research at some point. And those research have converted to medical practices, and that's what we use for our patients. A little bit about my experience. I just put it over here. Was able to present about 3 abstracts at ACP, 3 abstracts at ASHM. This is all during my medical school. Also, I had about 8 publications, and I was peer reviewer for 2 journals, BMJ for a while, and then Curious. I'm currently peer reviewing for Curious as well. So I have some kind of an idea about the research process, and I got this opportunity to just summarize all of that into this presentation. So that's the introduction. Now match requirements, I just want to jump into this right away. If you can see here, I'm not sure if I can use a pointer. Let me see. No mind. So if you can see here, pointal medicine, if you come to point number 5 and 6, and if you go along the line, the people who matched and did not match, almost had the same number of research experiences and even abstracts and presentations. So research matters in the sense, it's good for connecting with people and getting some new experience in the field, but you shouldn't overdo it. Okay. And because I know people who have done around 200 publications or something. That's good, but in a way there are other various factors that determine if you match into residency or not. If you can see, there are about 10 points. Research is just one of them, and it's not that significantly going to affect your application. So it's good to have 3-4 publications. Even up to 10-15 is fine, but after that, if you have time and if that's something you like, why not? But you should start focusing on other aspects as well. So types of research. So types of research can be different types of publications that's mentioned on the top, and it could be also be different based on clinical sciences. It could be a basic science research, it could be clinical research, or it could be translational research. So let's start with case reports. If you see, case reports are, most of my publications have been case reports. They're usually very short. You find a good case, you find a case that's rare, or you find an atypical case. You take that, you work on it with a couple of people. You can work on it by yourself as well, and that shouldn't take you, even 3 to 4 months from start to finish, and it
I
ends in a
see.
publication. Um, someone had a question. Okay, so posters could be just as, if you have a case report, you can also convert that into a poster or an abstract and submit it to various conferences. There are many conferences in the US, even locally. If there are conferences, you can submit there, you can present there. So that's a good thing as well. Literature reviews are, quite time taking, and it usually needs someone who can process data. So if you find someone who is good with handling data and has done literature reviews in the past, has some kind of experience, then it's good. Otherwise, if you're starting from scratch, it's going to take you, somewhere up to 6 months, right? So literature reviews are quite lengthy. They're good, they're good experience, but, I'm just discussing the different types. Now, university research is good. Okay, university research, as you're a student, some universities might have lesser opportunities than others. So why not get involved in the research at your university? So you can get involved in university research, and if you have a lab, that's a plus because you'll also get some lab experience, which you can use in the future. The last point, you know, you have to be beware of all these predatory journals online and online agencies, right? Now, Aspiring Mentors is a free platform, and I think I had this opportunity to give this presentation. But you'll find other agencies that are going to charge you, a hefty amount of sum. They're going to charge you. I don't know. I met someone the other day, and he told me some agency charged him, I think, $300 just for a research course. That was just, a single presentation. So just be aware of those agencies. Don't fall into their traps. Also, there are many journals online. Even if you just pay them, they'll end up publishing a paper. So do not go for those. Those journals don't have any importance on your resume. Sorry. So there's several types of research, as mentioned below. It could be basic science research, which you can do during your basic science years of medical school, or it could be clinical science research, or it could be translational research, right? So translational research I think it's quite interesting because it bridges the gap between basic science and clinical sciences. So this is some kind of, one kind of research that I was always interested about. Because, you get to apply what you learn in basic science and you get to put that into, clinical findings. So that's, in summary about types of research. Some journals and conferences that students can start looking out for. Curious is one. Curious is great. I think it's a free journal, and even if they charge, I think it's a small amount of money, and it's a fast process. You from start to finish. I think their reviewing time is not that long, so make sure to check out Curious. ACP is great. ACP has a conference every year around April, and anyone can submit an abstract to them. So you just have to sign up as a member. I think the fees is around $20 or something. So once you sign up, you'll be able to submit abstracts to them, and you have a very high chance of getting accepted. Okay, so make sure you check ACP out if you're interested in internal medicine. If not, for every specific specialty, there's a conference coming up. Let's say you're interested in um, OBG, right? So for OBGYN, there's ACG conference. Sorry, ACOG conference it's coming up soon, I guess, or in October. Anyways, so there's also SHM conference. There's also ACC, American College of Cardiology. Again, these are highly esteemed conferences. So shoot your shot at these conferences. If they accept you, that's a big thing. Also, there are many other ways you can get involved in research. You can join a research team in your medical school. You can do a research fellowship. That's what many people are doing these days. Also, you can conduct your own research project. Okay, so I'm not discussing more about the match. I just mentioned a little bit in a summary, but maybe we can, if it's possible, have another session and discuss more about the match and stuff. Yeah, so you can also attend conferences and workshops to learn more about research in your field. Now for us as graduates or new or incoming residents, for us, getting publications in is essential, right? So essential in a way which is enough for matching. But once you start residency or once you're in fellowship, I think you have to contribute to research, which in the future converts into patient care and stuff like that. So it transitions, I guess, from more of a basic science research to much more of a clinical type of research. And yeah, research is compulsory during your residency because that's going to help you for a fellowship as well. Okay, so what are the benefits one can get, from getting involved in research? So research, for sure, can help you develop critical thinking and analytical skills that are essential for medical practice, right? So if you acquire this certain skill set in research, that's going to help you a lot in the future. Once you join residency, you'll have an upper hand when compared. I know these days most of people have research, but there are many who do not. So having some experience in it is always really good than not having it. Okay, so it can also enhance your credibility as a medical professional and open up new career opportunities. Let's say some of you get accepted in ACC conference, for example. So you go there and you attend in person and you get to meet a lot of people there. You'll find cardiologists coming in. You'll find even program directors. Many program directors come there. So maybe you can connect with them and someone can refer you and might even help you get a interview at the program. So that's how you expand your you know connectivity at these conferences. So they are also good for that. And overall, our main goal is still advancement of medical knowledge and improving patient care. That's the baseline of any research. So that's why we do research. We want to get involved in research, not because it's rewarding, not because it's it opens up career opportunities. But at the end of the day, it should be something that advances your not just our but everyone's medical knowledge and also improves patient care. There's this line by Aristotle. I think it's really humbling if you understand this. Knowing yourself is beginning of all wisdom. So, if someone wants to be wise, I think understanding what your own capacity is and understanding yourself and investing in yourself, I think that's way more um, important than anything else. And what I mean by this is, try and get involved in much more of individual research. This is just a short presentation, so you won't get much. I'm trying, I'll do my best to clear doubts and stuff. But if you want to know more, you'll have to go out there, find out more about research by yourself. Don't get involved in agencies and stuff like that, especially the ones who charge you. Don't do that. So research courses that you can purchase online. Now this is CITI program. All the residencies in the US, even my program, I think a few days ago, they sent me this requirement, but it's from the program. So if you can purchase these courses and get them done, I think it's really good for your resume. But anyways, once you match, the program offers you these courses by themselves. If not, just try and do some of. I think the clinical research coordinator course is really good. And there are many other courses here, GCP, and yeah, you can just go on this website and look at them. So I think this is really good. If you can afford it, it's good. If you can't, there are many other courses online which are for free. So I think that's pretty much about, it was a really short presentation. I think that's pretty much it. You can check out. So what I'm trying to do is, this is my first presentation online, and I'll probably upload this on my website as well, on my channel as well. It's a new channel. There's nothing much on it, but I'm trying to, include some topics and discuss it. And if it's with aspiring mentors, then I don't mind that. So I think that was pretty much what I had to say and discuss. So if there are any questions, um, I can go ahead and take.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ali. It was a very insightful presentation.
Thank you so
So
much.
we have received few questions. The
Mhm.
first one is the first person asked, when is the right time to start research in your, are you able to start your research journey as a medical student, as a graduate, or when do you suggest the right time is?
That's a good question. I think the best time to start doing research is during medical school, right? So because you still have faculty around you who can guide you during the journey. Because when you're starting off as the first, let's say you're starting off your very first research, you'll need someone to hold your hand, right? When I did my very first research, there was a faculty who helped me out. So I think the best time to start is during medical school, around, let's say, third year, fourth year, when you have the time, let's say in a summer break, when you have some time, try and get in touch with faculty and find out what kind of research you want to do. Is it a case report? Is it a case series? And go from there. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you so much. We also have another question. Could you please tell us research sources? Thank you.
I think free research sources, if you can get on, Harvard has a free course online. I think I'll send those links to, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Is it Milkit? Um,
Maklit, yeah.
Miklet, okay, my bad. So, Miklet, I'll send it to Miklet, and she'll probably send it along with the presentation, some links for free courses online. There's Harvard there. That's one. There's many other courses. ACP has certain amount of free courses online as well. So make sure to check those out. I'll send those links to Miklet.
Yeah, so I think additionally, I've seen National Institute of Health, and also I
Hmm.
guess John Hopkins
Yes,
also have some few research courses.
yes, that's right.
But
That
yeah,
missed my mind, but yeah, those have free courses as well.
yes. So we have another question.
Mhm.
Does your level of authorship affect your application? Let's say somebody is at the top 5 authors and
Mhm.
somebody is maybe at the 20th or more level.
Yeah.
So do you advise do you have any take for that?
That's a very interesting question, and there's always, two different answers for them. So my view regarding this was, the higher you are up the scale in authorship, I think that's the best thing. That was my view. But recently, I met someone at Loyola, who's a resident there, and he told me, as a student, the order of authorship does not really matter. So if you're first as a student, and after that it's all, doctors and seniors. So they find out, there's some issue going on. So I think it's everyone has a different approach to this, take. But I think order does not matter much. So I know people who, in my university, when I used to, get involved in research, people used to argue all the time for the order. So let's say you're second or third, and the fourth and fifth person, they argue with the people who are before them, to go higher up on the authorship scale. But it does not matter as much, even if you're the last person, right? It's not going to matter much when it comes to applying for residency. And even in the future, it's just about, if you're starting the research, obviously you're going to be the first one. But if you're not starting the research, if you're just involved, I don't think it's going to matter, it's not going to be a big deal from that.
Yes, I also agree with that because some informations out there are a little bit discouraging when you're starting a research journey. So be it a 20th author or like a 5th or a 1st author, just start your journey and then get that experience. And then after that, once you get that experience, you can become the 1st author to all of your papers, no matter what. But don't get discouraged and then, keep on going.
Yes, I think what you said is 100%. So once you get the chance, just jump to the boat, get some experience in, and later on, you can start your own research and obviously be the first one on it.
Exactly. We have also another question. How can a student or a medical graduate secure a research job in the US?
Okay, so the many research jobs out there, I think I see a lot of applicants there being in Mayo Clinic. So make sure you check out Mayo Clinic because they offer a lot of research scholar, research fellowship jobs. But what my take in it would be, most of the people, what they do is, let's say someone applies for the match and unfortunately, for some reason, they go unmatched. So what they do is to fill in that gap year, they try and apply for these research jobs, which is good, which is great. And when you apply for these research jobs, let's say at Mayo Clinic, you'll get to connect with a lot of people, and it also looks good on your resume. So how can you apply for it? If that's what that was the question, I think you'll need to search around. But I think I know for sure Mayo Clinic is one that offers a lot of research scholar positions. You can also check out, I think John Hopkins has few, but there are many requirements for John Hopkins. So yeah, try and look around for the place that, let's say you want to travel to some different state that does not have a Mayo Clinic. Try and find the local hospitals if they have any research opportunities. But from what I know, Mayo Clinic is one, and they need steps, right? So I think they need you to clear all the steps before you can apply for a research position. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for answering that question. So what I would want to add on this point is that, of course, once you secure your job on these prestigious places, also like focus on networking, because one thing I saw on this match cycle was, of course, research is really, really important, but at the same time, clinical, especially US clinical experience outweighs research, right?
Yes.
So use those opportunities, network, and then if you are able to secure additional US clinical experience while you're there on those prestigious sites, start as networking as early as possible. Don't just like be limited to research only. So just go out and just seek for also US clinical experiences.
Exactly. So as she said, keep focusing, once you get that job, do that. But also meanwhile, try and get some clinical experience, because for the match, clinical experience outweighs research by far. So I 100% agree with that.
Okay, so we have also another question. Can we start the process now and hope it's not too late?
If you're referring to the process of, getting involved in research, it depends on where you are in your career, but it's never too late to start doing your research. There's always, I think there's some misconceptions around research. See, again, as I said, research is important, but when you look at the perspective of matching, I know a lot of people who match even without it. It's good to have it, but it's not going to hurt you if you don't have it, right? So it depends on your career, depends on your resume. If you have, good step scores, if you have good clinical experience, then I don't think it's gonna affect you much. But if you have kind of a low scores or not much clinical experience then yes, then 100%, research is going to help you out for that. So it's never too late. You can always start building your resume, and eventually it's going to help out.
Yeah, exactly. So I also want to add on that. So of course, you might think it's too late at the moment because of all the talks out there, but even if you started now, you're going to need that research also when you are going into residency, because most fellowship positions, especially the competitive ones, need you to have a background of like research, even as a resident. So It's never too late. Have that passion for research, and then don't think about it as if like one of the criteria is too much, rather one of, like a backbone to your career, because research is of course really, really important on every step of your career. So just start it, and then even if you don't finish your project now, you have plenty of time to finish it like next year, even in residency. So just have that skill. Yeah.
Yes, it's always important to have that skill, no doubt. It's going to help you out now and in the future.
Yes. So we have additional question. Does medical assistant job stand as clinical experience as well?
Does medical assistant jobs count as clinical experience? So from what I know, I personally don't have any experience with this. I think medical assistant jobs depends how much they let you do, right? So I think most of those jobs are you dealing with administrative stuff, I guess. This is from my own personal knowledge. But I don't think they'll let you do but it's good for communicating, it's good for connecting with other people, but most of these medical assistant jobs are not clinical, and I think that's my assumption regarding them. If Miklet can add on that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, so I can share my experience. I worked as a clinical care coordinator here in the US. So it was a remote position. I was in a different state, but at the same time, so when you are on site to that similar position, it was considered as a medical assistant position. But so what I advise everyone is that the stereotypes are there still. So unless you rotate in a university setup, it won't be considered as a good letter of recommendation. Unless you do something. So what I advise is that if you have like this opportunity, again, network as much as possible. At the same time, so in my case particularly, I had the chance to use the EMR. I had the chance to directly communicate with my patients. I had the chance to call and just discuss their clinical, their clinical status, and then I even checked their vital signs like remotely with their physical assistant that was present in their home, or like their care provider. So my point is that, so you try to utilize as much as possible from every experience, and then every clinical, even if it's not like hands-on clinical rotation, even if it's a medical assistant job, that's how you start your journey. And then as Dr. Ali said, if it's like purely administrative or paperwork, that might not be considered as a US clinical experience. But as a medical assistant, if you are communicating daily with the patients, if you are using electronic medical recording systems, and if you have the opportunity to work with a provider, use that opportunity as much as possible. And then whenever you get the chance to have that hands-on clinical experience, then you can, move on and just do that. But still, if you have the opportunity, just take it.
Yep, I agree to that. That's everything that you said is really important. So if you get the opportunity to join an MA position, 100% take it.
Yes. So do you guys have any more questions before we wrap up the session?
Hello, Dr. Ali. My name is Shaurya. Congratulations on matching. So I have a question. I actually did some research work during my med school, but those are actually all unpublished. So does that count? Like if can I mention that in my CV or something? Thank you.
Thank you so much for connecting today and attending this presentation. So regarding your question, I think on ERAS, there's a section where you have to mention your publications. So when it comes to that section, I'm not sure if you can mention unpublished work, but you can still mention it on the research experience page. You can say, you worked on this article, but try and get it published if you can, so that it can still show up on the publication section on ERAS. You can mention them in your unofficial CV, but on ERAS, I think there's a section where publication is different and research experience is different. So on publication sections, as it says, it has to be purely publications. And on research experience, it can be anything. It can be a project that you worked on in medical school, like you mentioned. It can be a conference you attended. It can be a poster you presented. It could be anything. So I think you can mention that in that section rather than in the publication section. But for sure, you can have that on the resume.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ali.
No problem.
Just to add on that also, if you have time to submit your research project, you can also add it as a submitted, not published, but you can have additional section on that, and then you can mention the research, and then the status will not be published, but rather submitted. So if you have the chance to submit that still, that's okay.
Yep. So if you can submit it and get it officially in any platform, any journal, you can definitely mention that on the publication section.
We have also another question. So as a fresher to research, how can we approach a professor, especially when they prefer previous research experience? How can we make ourselves stand out in such cases?
Okay, that's a really interesting question. So whenever, I think when I started off with my research journey, everyone had some or the other form of research. So my university research was highly based on presenting in their own conference, which did not lead to a publication. So what I decided was, I need some publication, because if I want to be in the US in the future, I will need something that's published. I did not know the entire process, how it was. But still, the way you can approach your professors, just go to them and ask, I'm I'm new to this. So if there's something, I think for starting point is, case report is really good. If you want to start with research, my personal opinion would be, start with a case report. If you have a good, strong case report, any professor will be, able to join in and help you out. Also, if you have an research office in your university, you can go speak to them and ask them if there are any opportunities that you can have as a fresher, or you can join groups, right? So you can join research groups, try and help them out, get some experience, and maybe next year or later you can start your own research project. So the thing is, I think the most important thing is starting somewhere. So once you start, it doesn't matter if if you have previous experience or not. But if you're fresh, starting is really important. Getting in that system is going to help you out one way or the other.
Yes, I totally agree with that. So yeah, the main point is that be honest about your previous experience and show that you are eager to learn. You're willing to take on any opportunity that you get. And then, that might be, like persuading two people to teach you more. So don't get discouraged about your lack of previous research experience, but just try cold email to professors as much as possible. And some people might be willing to teach you despite having no previous research experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now that you mentioned that, I think, emailing a professor is really good. Even emailing, people you find on LinkedIn who are involved in research, you can send them a message. You can post online, you're looking for research opportunities or something like that. And I think someone or the other always has some research project going on. And I think, if they're helpful, they can include you in their research project, and it can lead to something.
Yes, totally. So we have another question. So hello, doctor. I was wondering if published case reports weigh as good as research experience during the application for the match.
That's a good question. Case reports, when it comes to it, when you compare to other clinical experience, now I'm not sure with what clinical experience you're talking about, but if you look at the different types of publications that you can have, I think the lowest tier, or the lowest or the easiest one that you can publish is case reports. So everyone looks down on case reports, but it's not the case, because case reports for students, that's a big thing. You can easily publish them. It's fast. You do not require a lot of, data processing. You don't have to go, in the past, look for paperwork and try and analyze data. It's real fast. You can submit it to conferences and so on. So case reports are good. As a student, case reports are really good. But if you can get involved in bigger research, retrospective or prospective cohort studies, these are all big things. So if you can get involved in those, why not? But make sure it does not, make sure you have your other things in your application, like step 1, step 2 CK, so on. And then you get involved in these kind of researchers, which are long term. But that's just my personal experience. But I think, yeah, case report's really good when it comes to it. Again, depends on what clinical experience you're talking about. But there's always this, case reports are the lowest ranking. That's what people assume. And there's retrospective, there's literature reviews, so on. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes, totally. So there's also a follow-up to this question. Does the case report need to be in the field of specialty where we are applying, or is it okay to do those in other specialties?
Okay, I think having research, if it's your first research, I think any specialty is fine. But if you're fixed on a certain specialty that you want to apply for the match, right? If you want to apply for the match, let's say you want to apply for pathology. So make sure your research is in pathology. Okay, don't go for internal medicine, because sometimes during one of my interviews, I think most of my interviews, my research was brought up. So if they bring up, and if they go through your research, which you mentioned on ERAS, and let's say if that's from internal medicine and you're applying for pathology, it might lead to the question, why is your research in internal medicine when you're applying for pathology? So try not to have that on your back from the first moment when you start doing research. Try and get involved in research that's part of your specialty, right? If it's into medicine, something related to medicine. If it's surgery, something related to that, and so on. I think that's, if it's your first paper, why not get involved in anything that you find? But after that, try and have a more refined approach to your choice.
Yeah, I mean, that also shows your dedication to that specialty.
Yes.
It will definitely be supporting your application. But to get that experience, you can just start off with any research, opportunity that you get. But at the same time, you need to also, focus on your future goal. Let's say a certain specialty in mind. So try to build that in a certain way by showing that you're interested, like maybe volunteering in similar specialty, shadowing a similar a physician with a similar specialty, and also working on a research project with a similar specialty would definitely, speak volumes about your need. I mean, your interest in that specialty. So definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we have another question. Does doing masters in public health help to increase one's chance during a match?
So to answer that question, I think it's I think I mentioned that somewhere here, right? So if you have an MPH, right? If you see point number 10 over here, and you go down the line, if you're a US IMG, it's 17.4, and non-US IMG is 18.2. So it's going to help you, but every applicant is different, right? So I'm not sure what are the other things on your resume, but an MPH is not that. It's not going to help you. It's 100%. Most of the people I know who did MPH end up matching. So an MPH is good. It not just helps you connect with people at your institute. It tells them that you're interested in health sciences, and even after you match or finish your residency, MPH is a big plus, right? So yeah, MPH is good, and it's definitely any added or additional graduate degree that you have, especially MPH. If it's in the US, then yeah, 100% it's gonna help you out during matching. But again, matching depends on a lot of things. So, but yes, MPH is going to help you out.
Okay. So we have also another question. Congratulations on the match, Dr. Ali.
Thank you.
How to select a journal with a good impact factor for our systematic review or case report articles?
Okay, so that's a good question. I think if you go on, if you search online, I think there's indexing mentioned. And if you find, there's impact factor for each journal, the higher the impact factor, the much more difficult they are for publishing. I think the highest impact factor journal would be, I think there's a journal called, I think NEJM is very high impact factor. It's up there. So you can find them online. Now, I can't tell you which ones are, as long as they're PubMed indexed, it's good. But even if they're not PubMed indexed, it's not bad. So I think for students or even graduates, BMJ is good. But I think there's a sign-on fee attached to that. Curious is good. And yeah, there are many other journals that you can look up. Any journal that's, case reports is also kind of easy to, get involved in and publish. But that again is an individualized way, which journal you want to publish to. You can look that up online and find which journal has high impact factor and if that journal suits your research.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So just do your research before starting, before submitting your research publication or research paper, because the fees are different, as you said, together with the impact factor. So yeah, I don't think we have any more additional questions. So Dr. Ali, if they want to reach you for any further guidance, if you are open to it, and I believe you are going to also further, do more presentations on your YouTube channel at the same time, and also at our platform, I hope.
Yes, 100%.
You can just mention on the chat where they can reach you with active links. I think that would be good.
Okay, so you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn profile. I'm not sure how to paste that here.
I think they can find you if they search your name.
Yeah, so if you search up my name on LinkedIn, you can find me there. Yeah. Or you can send me an email. Okay, so that's my email. You can, if there's any question about research, we can always, I can answer that. And when it comes to, I think Aspiring Mentors is a really good platform. And I think what they're doing is really good, keeping things for free, try and help people out. I think that's great. So let's keep, if it's fine, we can discuss more on the match, more on what are the things needed for match. So my channel is mostly going to be, step 1 material, step 2 CK, step 3, so on. It's not going to be much more about the match. So we can have that discussion with aspiring mentors, or whenever we find the time, whenever we find a slot, we can always, do that. And I really liked, doing this presentation, and I hope it helped those who attended.
Absolutely. Yeah, so one thing we want to announce here today is that we will be also starting a free residency mentorship. So we will be starting, we will have volunteer residents who are currently enrolled in the US residency program. So they will have this one-on-one coaching with current applicants. So I hope that will definitely help. And thank you, Dr. Ali, for dedicating your time, again, for free, to discuss about your experience and also about your take on research. So I hope we will definitely have more sessions like this. Thank you, everyone, also for attending.
Yeah, also congratulations on matching, by the way.
Thank you. You as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, everyone, have a nice day ahead, and hopefully we get to meet sometime again.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good time.